Hey everyone, welcome to our weekly team call. I always look forward to it. I appreciate that you spend your evening, your Tuesday evening on this call. I think the best way to capture the community is to go to live events and get on calls, to be honest, and to do it regularly, not just when life is easy and convenient, because more than likely life isn't convenient. There's a lot going on. I remember starting my coaching journey. I'm getting really sentimental because on May 19th, it'll be 5 years. I feel like it was a blink of an eye, but some of those days seem like they dragged on forever. You know what I'm saying? It's just wild when you just commit to something and you don't break a promise to yourself. Have I failed, had setbacks, questioned myself, felt like things were falling apart? Did I get off track? Absolutely. But I just was like, just don't quit. Like, just don't quit. You'll figure it out. And I always have had that mentality. The first thing I ever wrote down in my notebook was slow and steady wins the race. This is the bridge to freedom. Trust it, right? And so I just feel like tapping into these team calls and being a part of the community just kind of just brings me back to why I'm doing this and where we're going. I'm going to share a little bit more on that in a second, but real fast in the comments, first of all, if you're a brand new coach, welcome. Thank you for getting on this call. You know what? I was so nervous to do that when I first became a coach. There was Rock the Business, which is now, or it was Rock the Basics. Now it's Rock the Business. It's our coach mentorship. And they would have Zooms, and I did not get on the first month. I was like so terrified. I didn't know what those things were about, even though that's why I joined. I heard a call and I was like, oh, that sounds really good, but I'm an introvert. And so I just have to like warm up to things sometimes, or I have to find connection, right? But I just was so nervous to get on those calls. And then once I did that next month, I was hooked, and I always made them a priority. And for the last 5 years, that's exactly what I've done. I still do it. It's even if I'm traveling, I catch a recording if I need to. They're just really important to me. So how long did it take you to join coaching? Like, how long did it take you to join your coach? Something that I had a revelation with that not all of you know is that like I said, it takes me a while to warm up to things. And as soon as I have an obsessive personality. So if I like manifest it, it's so weird. But like I have said this to some of you before, I knew I'd marry Eric the first time I met him, but it took him 5 years to realize that. When we saw Wyatt, another family was looking at him. I knew I wanted him before we went to the rescue. And the lady, I remember, I was like, well, what happens if that family wants him? Like, we were promised him. That's, I speak my mind. And she's like, well, have you seen the other dogs? I was like, I don't want to look at the other boxers. Wyatt is the one I want. Moving to California, and so coaching, the seed for me was planted in February of 2014. I didn't sign up till May 2014. So I had to have the seed planted, and I had to think on it for a little bit. And then I became massively obsessed with the idea of doing it, and then I committed. 2 years, Danielle said 2 years of a challenger, less than a week as a discount coach. Oh, I see. So you joined after 2 years of being a challenger, but then you're like, fine, I'll be a discount coach. And then that took you a week, and you're like, wait, there's something more to this. That's cool. I love that. Paige said 1 month. Janae said 3.5 years. Would you have done it earlier knowing what you know now? Curious. Took me 2 years. 1 day to join the person who asked me. Beth, absolutely. Isn't that so wild? It's just because you trusted her. 1 month of ghosting, 6 months. I came to her. No, Turner, you're not weird. No one actually asked me either. I never was asked. I just observed. I'm an observer. So are you an observer? I think that's a good thing to know, because then your people are observers. They're watching. Holly said customer, 1 month later, coach to self, 3 months later, coach to others. Emily said 2 to 3 months. I was pretty much just a discount after a month and just did that for a while. What do you guys think changed for you? Like, was it a post? Was it you saw something in the team page? Like, what was it? I want you to really reflect on that, because That's a great post to make. That's a great way to invite someone else. That's a great way for you to remind yourself how to be patient in this journey. I stalk hard, Turner. You and I are like soul sisters. Me too. Like, I always lived through other people. I was like, I can find out any information anywhere. Like, I am such a spy. I would be so good as a spy. Like, you can't hide things from me. February. Well, we're glad you're here, Michaela. I hope that's how you say your name. Michaela? I hope I'm saying it right. Okay, I said it right. We're so glad you're here. We're not scary. Don't worry. Well, I might be. Seeing my coach be consistent and wishing I could share my progress and journey like she was. I knew I could do what she was doing on social media. So, Marjorie, you should talk a lot about that. You should talk about that exact journey, right? So, I just think it's interesting because for me, I want to share this now, but it's not in my order of notes. Basically, sometimes we just think people should be joining us right away. How many of you thought that? Like, first of all, if you didn't join necessarily Coach to Self, but maybe you're like, there's this hope of like someone will ask you in your family, or maybe you'll kind of mention it to someone and that's your tester. I'm going to mention this to a family member, whatever their reaction is, then I'll know if I can do this. How many of you have ever done that to yourself? One, that is not setting yourself up for success, because in this book that I read, she owns the place. She talks about how we have to stop getting the opinions of other people. We have to trust our gut instinct. We have to trust our ability that we can do it and stop looking for other people to direct us. Do you know how to instantly become consumed with self-doubt? By asking everyone around you for permission. How many of you need to write that down? Permission to post on social media, permission to do this business. People are like, it's an MLM, pyramid scheme, all this stuff. I can tell you what, it's hard work and it's fun. It's not a pyramid scheme if people are to be educated, but I'm not here to prove points. I'm here to live my life. And so if people need you to prove points, they're not your people. How about you just do your thing? It's not. Educate yourself. There's plenty of information on that. Have you ever asked someone for their opinion only to still feel unsure, and then ask another person, and then another? Soon enough, you pulled basically everyone you know, and although you have more answers than ever, you're more confused and unsure of yourself than when you began. People who go for it, leaders, people who are go-getters, they rely on their intuition. And I just have to tell you, when I started, I think I did ask Eric, but I didn't really ask him. It was more like I was telling him. So let's get that straight. I went up to him and I was like, hey, I think I'm going to do this thing. And he's like, I don't think you should do it. I think it's a pyramid scheme. And I go, and then I cried. And then I go, I'm going to do it anyway. and then he's like, okay. And then I did it. And then now look, Eric, now look. No, I'm just playing. But the thing was, there was no amount of objection or fear. I just trusted my gut that I could do this. There was something inside of me moving that I was like, I need to be a part of that. I'm going to be a part of that. And sometimes we're relying on where we want to go next as a coach based on the other people around us. Like, goodness forbid, you ask a family member and they're like, what are you doing? That's so stupid. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I can't tell anyone ever about this again. And I'm going to stay so quiet about it. Guess what? What do you have to gain by keeping this a secret? What do you have to gain? What do you have to gain by being silent for other people? What do you have to gain by conforming to your family members and friends who think this is stupid? Like, what do you have to gain from that? Because I'm telling you, there is way more to gain by you just pressing in, leaning, doing it, following your gut, trusting this process, and then you'll show them what's up. Not that it's about that, but I'm telling you, I've walked that. So I hope that spoke to you, because I think so much and so often we're so consumed with the opinions of other people. I'm so out of whack with my notes here, but I'm on a roll. This is just what's going on. I'm speaking from the heart. So I've been doing polls on Instagram and I've been going crazy. I've been going crazy thinking about like, why don't people want to do this? I don't get it. Is it because I've been doing it for 5 years? I don't understand. I don't get it. This has gotten me in the best shape of my life. It gets you fit in every area of life. It connects you to people. I am a part of groups, pregnancy groups, TTC groups, miscarriage groups, all these kind of groups that are so freaking toxic. They're like this. They're like, hey, who wants to bash our spouses? And then there'll be like a bash thread. Or they're like, hey, who's feeling awful? Let's talk about why we're feeling awful. And then it's like a thread of like how people are feeling awful. And I'm like, that's just not how Happy and Fit is. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a thread like that in Happy and Fit, and I would shut that ish down real quick. It's just like, you go, girl. Like, we're celebrating each other. We're going on this thing. So I was like, why? I don't get it. Like, why don't people want to do this? This community is amazing, and people don't have access to what we have access to. We have workouts. Here's the deal. Sweet. You love the gym. I love it. I'm not discrediting that. Like, you go do you, girl. But as soon as the season changes in your life, you have a snowstorm, you have a baby, your work hours change, whatever, like wouldn't you want another tool in your tool belt to help cut the excuses? That's BOD. So BOD helps you cut excuses. BOD helps tailor to your lifestyle. So that's amazing. We have Shakeology. People say it's too expensive. They don't get it. They don't understand the ingredients in it, right? It's not your job to prove points. I think the 3 reasons why you love drinking it is enough. People who tell me, or like they try one thing and they're like, this is so bad, and then they like return it, and it's like, okay, my first 3 shakes I made were not that good because I didn't make an awesome recipe. 2, my body wasn't used to dense nutrition. 3, I hated eating clean. Like, that's just what it is. So then once I just got good at understanding what it was doing for my body, it was fueling my body. It was giving me better brain function. It was helping my blood. Like, it was helping all these things. It's 70 superfoods, right? Most people, if they're buying ingredients of a shake, Brittany Burmeister even posted maybe 3 ingredients, 3 superfoods from Whole Foods that cost what? $60? And all of those superfoods were in Shakeology for less than $4 a day as a coach. And the way it's made is not compromised. So we have that. We have Energize, which I think helps at life. We have all these things, right? It can help you. I shared my income progression. I think you guys all need to see this. I think that it's important for me to be transparent about it, because you know what? We all start off as coaches. We all start off as coaches. It does not matter where you're placed. It doesn't matter how you start. Here's the deal. I'm on a dead leg. No one who had signed up before me, my sponsor, helped me. Some of you have your coach helping you and you don't understand what that means, but this is how this is not a pyramid scheme, is I built this myself. Now it's turned into a community of people who are freaking crushing it and getting paychecks too. But it took me seeing my mentor's paycheck to be like, I can do something like that. This took work. This wasn't like, oh, it's just easy, right? So many people are just like, yeah, I want to go on those free vacations, but they're not willing to put in the work. This took early nights, late nights. I meant early mornings, late nights. This took sacrifice. This took getting on Zooms. This took completing workouts. This took getting a transformation myself. This took getting over myself and posting and sharing my journey on social media. And why do you think you couldn't have something like this? I only believed that I could do something like that because the people I was surrounding myself with told me I could. There isn't scarcity in health. There isn't scarcity in income. There isn't scarcity in this business. There's more than enough people to help. And health and wellness never goes out of style. People need it for life. You know what will go out of style? Fads. Those pills and stickers and things. Leggings, clothing. All that stuff is going to go in and out, but health and wellness doesn't. People need it for life, and people also need positive community for life. So you investing in a business that is like that, freaking powerful. But why the heck do people not want to do this? I can't understand it. I feel like I talk about it all the time. I feel like I talk about the objections. I feel like I talk about how people, you know, they'll say to me like, oh, like I need to get myself on track before I do anything like that, where it's like, did you not read my post, the one you liked where it said I was 35 pounds heavier? Like, what is the disconnect? Like, I don't like, didn't you see that I joined and I hated fitness? Like, I don't get it. Like, I literally am going crazy. And so then as I was going crazy, I did a poll question and I said, what do you struggle with the most? Like, what is your greatest fear? And I put 2 options there, and it was so eye-opening. And the 2 options were the fear of failure or the fear of judgment. Guess which one won? I wish none of those won. The fear of judgment. And I'm like, wait a second. So this is the optimal opportunity that can change every single person's life from the inside out. It can make them in the best shape of their life, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all emotion, like all these things, right? The one thing that is holding them back is the fear of judgment of other people. That crushed me. Because how many of us on this call do really care about what people have to say or think about us? And I was like, how have I gotten here? Is it because I just have this like shield of I don't care, I don't give 0 F's of anyone? Like delete me, do that, like whatever, get off my back, like who are you? I have a soul, I have a heart. Have certain comments hurt me? Yeah, but I have to tell you this, we're just bad at math. We're assuming everyone's going to judge us on our journey. We're assuming people are going to be like, oh, you're doing that thing? Yeah, the thing that's making me really happy. And you know what? Your opinion doesn't pay my bills. Your opinion doesn't get me in the best shape of my life. Your opinion didn't help me lose 35 pounds. Your opinion didn't help me retire at 26 as a teacher. Your opinion sure as hell didn't stop me from moving to California. Your opinion, ... Because at the end of the day, the people I surround myself with and link arms with are lifting me up and showing me and saying, Julianne, if I can do it, you can do it. That was Trina Gray and Sarah Morrison. If I can do it, you can do it. There's no difference between you and I, Julianne. That's what they would say. It's just time plus consistency. Trust this process. Don't give up. You're a fighter. You've got this. You have potential. You're capable. You care about people. Consistency wins every single time. Sacrifice. Make sacrifices so you can live the life you want. This is the bridge to freedom. What do you want in life? Dream bigger. What would help reduce the stress in your life, Julianne? What's the elephant that sits on your chest at night? How can this business be the solution for that? Those are the people I link arms with. And so, yeah, there's judgment there maybe, but not compared to my dreams and the freedom and the choices I wanted. Not compared to the life I wanted to live, not compared to the people I wanted to surround myself with, because I can tell you that people who are truly happy and confident and healthy, they're only going to cheer for you. They're only going to lift you up. And then these people who, quote unquote, your fear of their judgment, first of all, would you want to trade lives with them? They're telling you not to do this, that this is stupid, this is a scam. We're like, did they get results? Are they in the best shape of their life? In fact, I did have people who opened up a gym, people who went to school for nutrition and fitness, that I shouldn't be doing this because I didn't go to school for it. Well, girl, I know how to care about people, and whatever you're saying, I'm not listening because I have a vision and I'm unstoppable. So I did have even healthy people physically tell me I couldn't do this, but were they healthy mentally, socially? No. They didn't know how to think differently. They thought so black and white, and I didn't. And I was just like, there's just something different about surrounding myself with someone like Trina Gray, who has 2 gyms, who said Beachbody is the thing that changed her life the most. I'm going to listen to her. And then she's saying, why not you? I'm going to listen to her. Julianne, it's kind of crowded at the bottom. Why don't you just set bigger goals for yourself? You know what, Julianne? You shouldn't just arrive places. You're a constant work in progress. Okay, Trina? I got to figure this thing out. I've got to set new goals. I've got to go somewhere. Do you have someone in your life that is doing that? I hope it's here. I hope it's with your coach. I hope it's with this journey. But the point is, the fear of judgment is holding back society to sharing their story. This is our first time at life. None of us have it all figured out. Some of you might be broke as a joke right now, and that's embarrassing for you. I guarantee if you just were to own it and be like, this business can be that thing, then you'll go places. But if you're hiding, covering up, nervous about being revealed because you don't want to look like a fraud, that's getting in your way. But if you just own it and be like, man, like, I just want to get out of it. I don't want to stay stuck in it, because you know what? For a long time, I was the person who ran from everything. You guys know I'm not a runner, so I'm not talking physical running. I'm talking about running of problems. I would run from them, hide from them, cover them up. Anyone else? That was me to a T. Like, I've got it, survival mode. No one needs to know. Like, this is so embarrassing, right? Like it's so hard to say paycheck to paycheck. Bills are hard. No one wants to admit that because we want to just prove to everybody that we have figured out. But like, if people honestly care and would be happy for you to like feel that way, that sucks. Or if you're surrounding yourself with people who are living like that, guess how it's going to feel so incredibly easy to want to stay like that. But when you start surrounding yourself with people who, one, they, like for me, I'm telling you guys, I was paycheck to paycheck. First of all, I grew up on survival. It was really hard living here in Silicon Valley, and Eric and I taking all the leaps that we did. It was gut wrenching. It was just like, how are we even going to do this thing, right? We had all the worries in the world, but we still went for it. And I'm telling you, like, I didn't want to stay there. I wanted to keep going. Like, don't you want to surround yourself with people like that are willing to go do something? So maybe where it's like, okay, maybe you have 80 pounds to lose. But the thing is if you're not sharing your story, first of all, someone else misses out, but at least you're choosing to do something about it. There's other people out there that have 80 pounds to lose that are just complaining about how life is hard and life sucks and life is this, it's happening to them, and da-da-da-da-da-da, where you're like, you know what, I might have 80 pounds to lose, but I'm going to share my story and give hope to someone who needs to lose 80 pounds too. And I know if I share it, it's better accountability. And I know if I share it, I'll show up tomorrow. That was me with social media. I knew if I put it out there, it'd make me show up. Anyone else like that? That's exactly how I viewed social media. It was my accountability partner. It was my like stress relief. It was also my like personal diary almost of just like my journey to becoming fit in every area of your life. And guess what? I'm not an arrival. I'm not there. I won't ever be until I'm in heaven. So every single day, I'm sharing an update. I'm sharing a process. I'm sharing a reflection. I'm sharing a future hope. I'm sharing this journey because it keeps me accountable. It keeps me growing. It keeps me inspired. It keeps me connecting. I love looking at the time hops too. I love looking at the Facebook memories thinking, whoa, I remember where you were. You've grown so much. The fear of judgment is holding back society to changing and transforming their life because they care so much of the opinions of other people. In a bad way. I care about how Trina thinks about me. In a good way. She pushes me to want to be better. But there are people who mocked this. They questioned this. They thought we were crazy. They didn't take us seriously, but they're not living my life. I am. And once I took ownership of that, and I just kept on going, it silenced them. Not that it needed to, because if it didn't, I still would be here. But consistency, truth, honesty, transparency. If anyone said anything to me, I would just make a post about it. The last thing I would do would be tagging them, but they would for sure see it because they would message me afterwards. You have no right to come into my space and project your insecurities, inadequacies, and fears onto me. This is where I set the boundary. My dreams are too big. My vision is too grand. And what I'm doing makes me happy. And if you can't be happy for me for that, that's on you. That is on you. The fear of judgment is holding these people back. The people who are telling you no, the people who are ghosting you, the people who are watching you and not saying anything, they are so afraid. And what you can do about that is keep showing up and talking about that and talking about how you get through that and being honest about it, that you were afraid. You were afraid about the fear and judgment of other people and how you work through it, that it's your tribe. It's your tribe of people, the mentality that you weighed your options of like, what's the best case scenario, not worst case to best. Everyone always does that. They always make a pro list and a con list. I think it should be, I forgot where I heard this, but you should just make a double pro list. I think it was Brooke Castillo. The best, so if you were to think about coaching, right, where it's like, what's the best case scenario I don't coach and join this tribe? Like, what's the best thing to come from it? If I were to join this tribe and become a coach, which we all are, what's the best case scenario? Which one do you like better? And so maybe when we start teaching like that and talking like that and owning that instead of becoming timid, I think a lot of times when we become coaches, we don't lose that fear. We're timid. We're timid in our story. We're seen but not too seen. We're bold but not too bold. We're a little quiet about what we're doing. We don't own it. We're a little embarrassed. Once you just own it, there's some kind of magnetic attractiveness, I don't even know if that's a word, that comes to you. That just, it's like magnetic, where it's just like, I want to do what she's doing. She seems happy. She's owning it. She seems confident. Do you know that's what most women want? And why are we playing small by being timid and hiding and saying, I'm going to be a discount? First of all, that word drives me crazy because I don't ever want to discount this opportunity, because this opportunity is a gift. So if you're here to coach the self, great, but I think there's more potential within you. I forget what number hates hearing the word potential. You sixes have to evaluate the worst case scenarios in every single option, which is fine. But I hope that you realize you're the best objection handlers, you sixes, on the Enneagram. So talk about those objections. You sixes were like, is this a pyramid scheme? And then you did all your research on it, and then you like know it, that it's not. Own that. Talk about that. Did that speak to anyone? What did you hear when what I just said? What did you need to hear? I think in your messaging, this is something to really talk about. I think to create an open, honest conversation about the fear of the opinions of other people on repeat. Maybe it's something you still struggle with, but that your tribe is helping you through it. I think that could really help. So our monthly goals are going to be Success Club and Emerald for this month. So Success Club is probably how you got started with the challenge pack. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's actually something to be really excited about. And Success Club 6 is helping 3 people with a challenge pack, okay? And then Going Emerald is helping 2 people sign up as a coach, maybe with the challenge pack, or some of you were challengers and then signed up, right? How do we do that? And how we do that is we have a business builder page I would love for you to be a part of if you want more from this. I think you should. I think there's like, what do you have to gain by not? Like, you have everything to gain by doing, right? And Emerald is where it starts. And Emerald is not where it ends. Emerald is igniting your business. This is really, really important. So for new coaches or coaches who are not Emerald, I think it's really important if you go halfway Emerald like ASAP. I helped my mom get started. And then remember, I went to that person's house with a binder, a coaching binder for 2 hours, and she ended up signing up. She's no longer here. I don't blame her. But there's people you know. And then I signed up Eric. And I highly recommend, if you're wanting to do this as a business, this is where my mentorship is coming into, of signing up your spouse with a challenge pack. Get your first 2 Success Club points with the performance pack. Then you get to try 2 new products, right, that we have, Recover and Energize. Let me just tell you what, if you are not drinking Energize, I don't know what planet you're on, but it's going to help you in life. You're welcome. It just helps you like crush life out. So let's go halfway to Emerald if you're new. Get 2 points on the board. You're going to feel so proud. Signing up a spouse or a close family member, it's an account you can control. Here's the deal. Eric and I, between the 2 of us, have 3 business centers. So we make income 3 different ways as a coach. And so every single week we're getting not just 1 paycheck, but 3 with Beachbody. And it's because I chose to sign him up as soon as I became a coach. Now, he wasn't making money as soon as I signed him up. It took time, But now when you see that $11,000 in a month, that is because we have 3 business centers. And so I'm just being transparent with you, business minded. It's really a good move. If you did not see in the Coach Collab, I'm doing one-on-ones for the next 3 days. They're going to be 15 minutes. If you're hopping on calls, which you're here, and you're tuning into the National Wake Up Call, basically just people who are connecting and they're not disconnecting and then hoping I can be their connector to run with this thing. I want to work with those who are making an effort, if that makes sense. It's kind of like, don't just use Happy and Fit and the Coach Collab to receive. Can you give? Don't just take from the Coach Collab and Happy and Fit, but like give back as well. How do you give back? Share a positive quote, share best practice, share something that you learned in personal development. I don't know. Share why you love this. Share a shout out and give back. And so what I want to do is I want to give my time to you and do 15-minute one-on-ones. You can sign up in the Coach Collab. We'll talk about Instagram and a strategy for you. I want to share a story with you. So when I first started coaching, I made $0, and we all start off as coaches. Like, that's the coolest part about this opportunity in this business, is that we all start the same, and it's up to you with what to do. It's not, oh, I sign up, then become Emerald magically or Diamond or whatever. It's like, nope, you actually have to put in effort. So we all sign up and we all are coach rank, right? So I wanted to go somewhere. My mentors told me to go Emerald. I was like, okay, I'm going to make it happen. I don't quite understand it, but I trust you. And holy cow, were they right? And it changed my whole financial future, really, and my whole mindset on it. But I was thinking about this. Some people need to have like all these things happen. Like they need to hit Success Club, go Emerald, make all these paychecks right away, like that instant gratification. But this is my story. When I was in college, I changed my major my junior year of college. I decided I wanted to become an urban inner city school teacher. And so what I did, I was working 2 jobs in college. I would wake up probably at 4:30 a.m. and I probably wouldn't go to bed until 10 p.m. And if you know me, I go to bed at like 7:30 p.m. Like, I'm really cool over here. I know you want to hang out, but we have to hang out at like 2 p.m. in order for me to be awake. But I started without clinicals. This did not even count towards schooling. I would go observe classrooms weekly. I wanted to be the best inner city school teacher in Milwaukee. I wanted to not have a terrible first year. So beyond my clinicals, which they're mandatory, I would do extra. Just sit there, observe, take notes. If I was able to do homework with kids, I remember someone asked if I would teach a 10-minute lesson. I was so scared and I did it. I did summer school. I taught summer school. I ended up doing a residency without getting paid for an entire year on top of classes. So I would be there. It's like student teaching, except for most student teachers teach for 9 weeks. Mine was the entire school year. And I would get to school at 6:30 and then a.m. and then I would leave around noon, and then I would have classes, and then I'd have night class, wash, rinse, repeat, and probably a job in there as well. And I wasn't getting paid. And I feel like it just kind of reminds me of coaching. It's almost like I knew what it would do. I wanted to be the best and I wanted to be good at this. I was willing to work so hard without getting paid because it wasn't the paycheck that would make me successful. It was the passion, the purpose, the drive, the learning, the collaboration, the networking, the connecting that would fuel my fire for wanting to be the best teacher in the inner city of Milwaukee. And I feel like with coaching, that's very much how my mentality was. I didn't need to get a paycheck right away. I knew it would happen. I just knew I wanted to be a part of it. So I jumped on calls. I made sacrifices. I got up early. I went to bed late. I did rock the business, that coach mentorship. I finished it. I listened to YouTube. I would listen to my personal development while getting ready for work. I would read, I would just do it without making any money, but I felt so freaking successful. Money, rank, none of that is going to entitle you to success. But what will is your work ethic and belief and relentless desire for wanting a better life. And personal development, working out, connecting to this community was making me a healthier and happier person. I just thought of that story and I was like, wow, that's definitely how I built my business, is how I became a teacher. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. Oh, here's something. Again, I told you these best practices are totally out of whack. Instead of saying like certain things with inviting, this is a really simple tool that I heard on a YouTube call. And she said, would it be okay to give you more information? That's all she says. And she says, for some reason, like when we say like, give me, like how we word things, that they're automatically assuming they're tied into something that they don't want to be tied into. Does that make sense? So this simple phrase, their question, would it be okay to give you more information? She says 99% of the time they say yes. So I just wanted to share that. I was like, oh, that's really good. So I can even do that in a poll. Instead of saying like, I'm in or interested, I could say, would it be okay for me to give you more information? Yes, or I'm not ready yet, or something. I don't like to put that's not even a negative. I like to do like 2 yeses or whatever. Maybe I would put an emoji. But I think that's a friendlier way of giving someone more information. I heard this on a call today. Sometimes I just listen to YouTube. If you didn't show up to your job, it wouldn't work out. Isn't that so true? I feel like there's a major con to this business. And the major con to this business is that you're not clocking in, you're not clocking out, and you don't have a boss. You are the boss. You are the CEO. There is no one in charge of you. There is no one responsible for your success except for you. And I just feel like it gives people an easy out because your quote unquote real job, which I think that's also a mindset shift. I treated this like a real job, a business. To me, I was like, people usually are in so much debt starting businesses. The fact that we aren't is pretty great. The fact that our business startup one gets us in the best shape of our life with Bod and Shakeology, pretty remarkable. And can start a business that can help you become a multi-figure earner, millionaire, whatever you want it to be, and helps you in your mindset in every way possible, connects you to the greatest people. Like, that's pretty rad. But I feel like it gives us an easy out because there's not a whole lot of investment financially. And so for me, if I didn't show up as a teacher, guess what would happen? Like, you guys, guess what would happen? I don't think you have to guess. I think you know. So I think the con in this whole CEO life is that if you don't show up, your business isn't going to do anything, but I feel like you don't have enough skin in the game. So there has to be a mindset in here. For me, it was like, I've got to show up. Like, I have to, almost like I would, if I didn't show up, I would lose $500,000 that I didn't invest because it's not real, but it's almost like I had that mentality because there has to be some sort of mentality for you to show up when things feel like they're not moving. And this is my point to this. Walk the talk. So I've been doing this for 5 years. April, I completely winged it. And I hate admitting that because I'm a mentor, I'm a leader, I help you in what to do. And it's so hard to just say those kinds of things, right? Just as much as like losing your stuff as a mom, isn't it hard to admit that? Like that you weren't patient today, that you yelled. Even as a teacher, if I lost my cool, like I never felt good about that. And you don't want to be like, hey, I'm the teacher who like totally like leveled into her kids today. Like, that's not fun. You don't want to own that, right? Hey, I'm the jealous wife. You don't want to walk into a room like that. So knowing that April was like that, I completely winged it. And I keep reflecting, I still hit Success Club. But the thing is that I wasn't proud, and here's the deal, I'm course correcting. Instead of dwelling on it and then backing off, not doing something about it, I had coaches quit. I had like whatever, I was not following a tracking system. So how am I course correcting? Eric Condia shared in the coach collab, Brittany Frost's tracking system. He made one for all of you to use. And guess what I've been doing? And I'm so pumped for Taylor. She got started today joining our crew. And I have more people that are pumped to get started as well. And I'm just course correcting. So guess what I'm doing? I'm tracking every single conversation I'm having. And here's the deal. we try to network. We try to go expand our network, do all these things, and we forget to connect to people. How am I connecting? I'm using the poll feature and the quiz feature on my Instagram. Go check it out. You need to check it out. I'm doing it every day. You'll see it. Every time someone participates on my poll is to get to know people. My quiz is for them to get to know me. So I do a poll. So I did one like, if when your friend gets married, do you change their name to their married name and not leave their maiden name? I keep their maiden name. So I have friends that I've had for 10 plus years that have been married, and they still have their maiden name. It was so funny to see the response to that. I did that fear of judgment, fear of failure. I do silly ones. I did one, would you rather have a t-shirt 2 sizes too big or 1 size too small? I'm doing a poll feature to get to know my people who are following me on my journey. And I feel like people want to follow people they trust. They want to join people they trust. They want to join people they have a connection with. I'm someone who needs to have a connection. If I don't have a I don't want a random message from anybody. I have to trust you. I have to have some kind of connection for me to even want to hear what you have to say. And I was like, oh, I bet that's like my following. And so I get to know them by doing the poll feature. How many of you have been incorporating this? I asked that on thing. I love that. And just keep trusting this process. You still need to go out there and connect with people to, like, you know what I'm saying? So they come to you, but they're not going to just magically all of a sudden stumble across you. Maybe that might happen, but it's slim to none. So just trusting that process, right? But the quiz feature is where they can get to know me. One of my things was like, how do I drive Eric the most crazy? Leaving zip-up hoodies in every single room, not screwing the cap of the toothpaste on, and I forget the other one. It's 100% leaving my hoodies in every single room. I'm not kidding. Because I always wear them. Then I get too hot and I take them off. But the best part about it is then when you're cold, you're like, oh, here's a hoodie. Like, it's just there. Like, I'm a really clean, neat person. So is he. And we don't really have pet peeves at each other, but it's really funny. He's just like, you have so many zip-up hoodies that are just conveniently in every room. And then when people wrote the toothpaste one, I was like, oh no, I always put the cap on. And I'll send them a message back. So with all those interactions, I'm tracking them on this sheet, this Google sheet. And so I'm going to contact them and message them in a week. And how do you transition? How do you get people where it's like, you just do it. But you have to start somewhere. And where I'm starting to course correct for my month of May is I need to be tracking all of my conversations, and I need to just be connecting with people. So I am being so transparent with every single one of you on this call that April was not my best. However, I still got it done. And here's the deal. I've been coaching for 5 years. Winging it paid off because I've been doing this for 5 years. Does that make sense? Meaning I'm more confident in my delivery. I know how to close. I know how to converse with people. I know what I need to do to get it done. This would not have worked winging it 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I've been coaching longer than all of you. And I was able to pull it off, but I'm telling you, you can't pull this off. I'm not trying to like put doubt in your heart, but I'm just saying like, please, 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 let's not wing this, because I'm telling you, it didn't feel good. And I wasn't proud. And I was like, I can't let that happen again. So what are you going to do about it? And because I did something about it, I helped Taylor get started. By the way, we've been talking about coaching for over a year. And she messaged me today, and it must have been a post, and she said, I am so ready. And I was talking about the fear of judgment today, and she participated on that poll, right? I don't think that was by accident, but I also don't think that was by chance. I think it's because I course correct. I have a better attitude about it. I'm taking action. What if I would have thrown in the towel on the last day of April because I didn't feel good about it? Or I'm not good at this. I'm not da-da-da. We ask ourselves the dumbest questions. Can I really do this? Dumb question. Will I ever be like her? Dumb question. Our question should be like, how do I get better? How can I be more myself? What would set me up for success? What would give me more joy in this? Why am I good at this? Sometimes we can just ask ourselves the silliest things that put more defeat in our heart and then create more inaction. Am I right? So I'm being so transparent with you. April was a month of winging it. I did not feel good about it. I did not hit the goals that I set to hit, but I didn't give up, and look what happened. So many coaches give up and they don't realize what's right around the corner. If I would have given up, Taylor wouldn't have gotten started today. Did you see my point with that? Because I had a different mindset on it, and because I don't quit, because I promised myself I would not quit, that I would course correct, look what happened. So many coaches who throw in the towel, who like feel so defeated on things, they don't even realize what's right around the corner of someone needing this. And so that's my point to that. And don't hold back. You are so made for more and meant to do this. And again, it's not about balance. I don't think we can fully balance life. Like, I'm sure you newborn mamas on here, there's no balance. I'm sure that's like impossible, right? So I don't think that there's balance in general. I don't think we can fully feel balanced in every area. However, I think we can adjust in seasons. And whatever season you're in, I've seen someone build this business. Whether you're in a season, and believe me, we're all busy. Sometimes we're busy because we say yes to everything and we're not good at saying no. Some of us are really busy because our kids are at that stage of at all the activities. But no matter what, someone's excuse, I've seen that be someone's reason. Julie Voris said on a call today, she said, Mom, I just don't, she has 3 daughters, and she said, my $11 Y teaching membership, or when she's a teacher, or she's a Group X instructor, wouldn't pay for 3 colleges, but Beachbody has. That's what she said. I think that's so awesome. She's like, yeah, my daughter the other day was saying, Mom, I just don't get why all these moms are like, no, my kids are little, I want to be with them all the time, like, well, like all these things. She was like, Mom, like I didn't need more cuddles from you. All I wanted was for you to pick me up from dance practice. She's benefited more from seeing her mom crush it and give her more opportunity than playing small and saying, oh, you know, I need to be doing this with my kids all the time. Julie's like, you don't need to be with them all the time. Okay, if they're breastfeeding, yes, right? But she's like, my kids are even saying that, Mom, I don't get why moms are thinking this way. That's not, we don't need that. What we need, right? Like, I loved that you get to go everywhere with me, but I also love that you've worked so hard to provide so much opportunity for us. It's not about balance. It's about seasons, and it's about what are you willing to sacrifice. I don't think, and Julie says, like, weekends are for my family. But during the week, like, I am making this such a priority. David Adkins, he did the National Wake Up Call this week. So freaking good. If you guys have not listened to it, it's probably the best National Wake Up Call I've heard all year. He's a sergeant in New York City. I've heard him speak a few times at Summit. And he has 3 daughters. And he is, like I said, like a police lieutenant in downtown Manhattan. And he was like, I still work my business 3 hours every night. At 8 o'clock, my kids know that's what I'm doing. But on the weekends, I'm with them. But I go to all their activities. I'm involved in their life. And he sells a full-time job, all these things. And they paid off $100,000 of debt. Isn't that amazing? It just shows, like, you can build this while having a family. In fact, you should. I think that, like, it's kind of like what you guys preach, and I'm excited about this too, where it's like, I want my kids to see me be healthy. I saw my mom just like ripping apart like the way she looked growing up. That's why I kind of like protested makeup for a long time, because I was like, that's not a way to make someone beautiful, because she thought it was. And, you know, she had a lot of men not treat her nicely to make her think that she was not beautiful. And I think she's the most beautiful person in the whole wide world. And I was just thinking, like, I don't want my kids to ever think that beauty comes from something like that. I want them to see a strong mama who cares about self-care, who talks about self-love and talks about strength and talks about health and talks about those things, and doesn't talk about appearances and needing to look all together and be fake and all, and like need to look beautiful in superficial ways. Imagine what you could do for your family by them just seeing you hustle for a dream you love for, or you love so much. Because I just think like your kids are going to leave the nest, and what else are you going to have? Like there's something so much more to you, right? And I get it, like things are going to shift for me as soon as I have my kid, but I'm going to be as transparent as possible about it, because I watch Trina and I watch what she's done to her kids and the mindsets that they have. Like Jade wants to become a coach. She can't wait. Colt is already like doing entrepreneurial work as a 7th grader. Like they see their mom hustle and they are so inspired by her. They're inspired by her drive and her work ethic. And I'm like, man, I want my kids to see that. I don't want to just be like a mom. I want them to see like this mom who just went for it and lived life and like loved massively and built a tribe she's proud of and is able to do that with her family. And so I hope that spoke to you, because I just think that all of us have access to that, but I think it's all mindset. I think it's do you believe you have access to that? And we have to combat a lot of scarcity and a lot of past troubles and past experiences to truly believe that and break free from that. I want to be a chain breaker. I want to show my family. So many things stop with me that my kids will never know, experience, and see. Right? And I'm so excited for them, but I'm even more excited for them to just see me serve, give, lead, impact, go for it. Because wouldn't you want your kids to go for it? It starts with you. Haven't you learned that? I learned that as a teacher. It's not about what you say, it's about what you do, right? You got to walk the talk, my friends. You've got to walk the talk, and you've got to say, why not me? And you put your blinders on, you become so authentic. You get over these limitations of the fear of judgment because your mindset is better than that. Small thinkers and small doers want to pull everyone else down around them to make themselves feel better about themselves. That does you no good. It serves you in no way. You playing small, you keeping this a secret, you not playing into your potential, you dreaming small won't get you there. But what will is willing to be brave enough to face it and do it. And guess what? The worst thing that might happen is someone says, oh, that's a blah, blah, blah. Would I trade lives with them? Am I in kinds of conversations that are like that? Like we're talking about dreaming big and being bold and literally just like shooting for the stars, being the best parent, going for it, setting this example. Are people talking like that are trying to tell you not to do this and that you post too much? I've gotten that. I've unfriended you. I've unfollowed you. You post too much from family. And I just go, okay, like, I don't understand why you need to tell me that. Does it make you feel better? Like, do you think I'm going to stop because you told me that? It's not. I don't pay any attention. I think I posted like 5 times today on Instagram. Not on my stories, like posts. I don't care what the algorithm is. I got stuff to say. I'm just going to do me. I'm not going to live on someone else's standards because they don't get to decide. I get to decide. And at the end of the day, I want to be massively proud of what I've done. And I am. And I am not slowing down, my friends. I am on my way. I hope that tonight spoke to you. It was really all over the place. Oh, lastly, for those of you who are mentoring and leading and helping new coaches get started, I heard this on another call today. I'm obsessed with YouTube. 2 questions that Chelsea Pearson asks her new coaches. I thought this was really good. And this can help you decide whether or not they're going to do something. Number 1 is, what are you excited about? If they're excited about just getting a transformation, then she knows that they're not going to do a whole lot with the business. But if they're excited about paying down debt, excited to share their story, excited to ... she knows that there's more in there for them. And her second question is, what does success look like to you? So again, if success to them is only losing 30 pounds, then she knows that they're probably just going to say coach to self. But if success for them is like no debt, no financial stress, a building, I remember dreaming of Happy and Fit before it even existed. That would be success to me, being like a thriving team, a beautiful team. Like I manifested that. I thought about that. I prayed about that before it was even here. Before you all were here, I just knew Happy and Fit is about to reach 1,000 people in the next week. I should get cake just to eat the cake, but you know, like I guess I have to have like some kind of reason to have cake. That's gonna be my reason. What does success look like to you? Those are two questions that you could ask. So what are you excited about? And what does success look like to you? So are they excited to connect to the team and jump on calls and be a part of this community? That would tell me that they want more in this. And what does success look like to you? Like, oh, making $100 a week would help my family so much, right? All right, I'm gonna hit end record.